Hello, and welcome to another episode of Thrive Like a Parent podcast. Today, I am going to get brutally honest with you on some Q&As that I get often, and I love doing this because there are so many questions asked that I can't answer all of them. But what I'm going to do today is give you some of the Q&A questions that are most asked. And hopefully this will help you in your life. And they will be personal, they will be business related, they will be sensory related, they will be all the different things of how all of you usually pick my brain, if you will. So the first one I'm going to start with is, how do you do it all and still be available for the kids? The answer to that is I don't. I don't do it all. And, I am a parent and a working parent just like you, many of you, and I struggle too. There's times where I feel like I'm pushed and pulled in different directions. Every now and then I will look at someone and say, being a parent is enough. Like, that is a full-time job. Being a parent to my two boys is enough. Having my business is enough, but I have both. And what I do in order to have it all is I, number one, delegate, and number two, have boundaries of steel. And so if you didn't know, I built this. This is my second business. I built this business from the ground up. When I tell you, I didn't even have an office. I started it in my bedroom on a box. Like, that was my desk. And definitely didn't have these lights and microphones and backdrop. Like, I didn't have any of this shit. And I was everything. I was marketing. I was sales. I was supporter. I was leader. Like, I did it all. Every different aspect of the business, I did it. And then what I slowly did was I hired when I could, and I would take things off my plate. And how I would decide what I wanted to take off my plate was, what are the things I don't enjoy doing anymore? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna hand that over. I'm gonna hand that over. I'm gonna hand that over. And it has taken 4 years to be able to build this into a very structured schedule. I revamped and revised my schedule a lot as I saw fit. My schedule looked a lot different when I was sitting down on the ground working from a box station of a desk than now. I start my day and I go work out, and then I have a daily meeting with Nadia, and then I see clients the rest of the day, and 3 p.m. is my cutoff. And my cutoff is 3 p.m. because of my children. I did not get that luxury in the beginning. I did not. And that is where and why having someone like Lolo, our nanny, was so crucially important, because she helped me make sure to give the love and nurture that sometimes I wasn't able to give. And I remember looking at my children saying, I promise you it won't always be like this. I promise you it won't always be like this. And now, 9 times out of 10, I'm the one picking up the kids from school. And that has just started this year. But I also hold boundaries with what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do. If I need time and space for me, or if I need socialization, if I can add more to my plate, or if I have to subtract more to my plate. I am a reformed people pleaser, perfectionist. Yes, girl. Like, I just am. I used to be on every committee and everything, and go big or go home. And I was like, oh, I can do that. Guys, we got to step this up. Like, let me help you out with this. I'm not helping anyone out anymore. I'm helping myself. And that was a huge shift. And you listening to that may even say, wow, that's quite selfish of you. It's not. And I work with clients every single day who I help support them into understanding it is not selfish to take care of yourself, because my priorities are my mental and physical health, my children's mental and physical health, and then my clients and my business and all of my employees and my family and friends. Like, do you see how it trickles down? But it starts with me. That is my own pyramid, and I am at the top, and it is okay for you to be at the top. And that is the only reason this household functions, is because I am unapologetic about a few things, which is boundaries and scheduling. And you can have that too. Yes, you can. Next question First thing I should change: if kids' noise, screaming, joyfully, shrieks set me off easily. Okay, so there's two different things at play here. The noise could just bother you because that's your baseline. You are an avoider of sound. Okay. The other thing at play could be you're already dysregulated and in fight or flight. And so any noise is going to set you over the edge. And it is important to know the difference. It is important to know whether you are in fight or flight and dysregulated, and that's why you're snapping, that's why you're jumping, that's why it's setting you off, that we can regulate. Or are you just an avoider of sound? You don't like loud noises. You're not interested in big crowds. That's avoiding of auditory, right? There's these things called loops. I'm sure you've heard of them. They used to be really new. Now they've been around for a few years. They decrease the decibel by about, I don't know, 17 or 32. I don't remember. There's a bunch of different ones at this point. They used to just have one. Now they have like a variety pack. But loops are fantastic. I used to keep them on my desk to hold up and show all my clients. Who knows? My kids have probably played with them, maybe stuck them up their nose. I don't know. But either way, loops are fantastic. Another way to do it is to, once you recognize, wow, I'm being set off by noise, check in with yourself. Hey, how am I feeling? Ooh, I'm feeling really set off. Ooh, okay. Where do I feel that in my body? I feel it in my chest. I feel it in my shoulders. I feel it here. Like, where do you feel it? Okay, what do you need? Maybe you need to step away for a second so that you don't snap at the kids. Maybe you need to go do some box breathing on your bed for a second. Be like, Mom will be right back. Dad will be right back. Maybe you need to go hide in the bathroom. Maybe you need to say, okay, I can tell that I'm dysregulated and I'm not doing well. I think I need to do XYZ once the kids go to bed tonight. Maybe I need to go on a walk. Maybe I need to have a bath. Maybe I need to do a yoga session online if you can't leave the house. Maybe I need to journal. Maybe I need to do some meditation. Maybe I need to go to bed early. Like, what do you need? We can't always control our children's behavior. Sometimes we can, but we can't always, and especially depending on their age, right? But we can control our reactions. We can control how we support ourselves through things that set us off, right? And so that's where we need to learn coping skills in order to take care of you. We can't always fix our kids from kicking the back of our seats when we pick them up from carpool, or, like, yes, we should be able to, and we're working on it, helping them understand, like, hey, this is the boundaries, right? That's where that word control can come in, but it's not really control, it's boundaries, right? But we're still working on it. So they're not perfect. And so we need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. This could be its own podcast, and I probably will make it its own podcast. How do I distinguish between a dysregulated nervous system and ADHD? Well, I personally believe they are very similar. They look very similar. And if you think about the rate at which we are diagnosing adults with ADHD at the moment, I mean, there's so much shortage of medicine because everyone now is on medicine for ADHD, and, oh, I was diagnosed here and there. I'm not saying you don't have it. I'm not saying that the doctor's wrong. Don't go get all pissed at me, right? But I am going to be blunt and honest with you. ADHD looks exactly like a dysregulated brain. You can't think straight. You might have brain fog. You're jumping from task to task to task to task. You get set off easily. You don't have the capacity to think straight. Your brain is not functioning right. You're flighty. It's when you're dysregulated, when your brain is in fight or flight, you are offline. And so your brain doesn't have the capacity to function in terms of like, oh, let me push my business from, 6 figures to 7 figures. We're going to do that this year. Let's go. Like many people do it dysregulated. Many people do it in fight or flight. Got to tell you, many people. But functioning from a regulated brain, you will be in the creative space. Your brain will be online. You will be able to function. I was diagnosed with ADD, not ADHD, in 3rd grade. I understand the symptoms that individuals have. I personally can't stop moving. I'm fidgeting in my chair. I'm always using my hands. Like, there's certain things that I see with the diagnosis of ADHD within myself. However, I feel that I have regulated a ton of these where I felt as though I used to not have control over certain, let's call them symptoms. What it really was is just how my brain functions. And so through sensory and emotional regulation, I now see the world so much different. I've talked before about low registration. That was one of the symptoms I saw for me of that ADHD, if you will. I legit had bruises all over my body. Ever since I have learned to regulate my nervous system, I no longer bump into walls. I no longer trip over things. I no longer have random bruises all over my body. I don't emotionally eat anymore. Like I'm very in touch with my jaw and my oral and like all these things that a lot of us utilize in terms of attempting to regulate our nervous system that can look like forms of ADHD. If you are regulated, you won't see those symptoms. I promise you. You will feel present. You will feel aligned. You will feel like you are in the creative brain. You will maybe stop biting on your nails or picking your skin or you could go on TikTok and find ADHD symptoms for days, FYI. Like you just could, right? But the next question that someone asked me is, can you support ADHD without medication? The answer is 1000%. Now, that is a personal choice. There's no judgment on my end. I have said that from the beginning of my career. Parents would always ask me about medication, and I would say, it is a personal choice. That is a choice that you get to make and you have to make on your own. There's no wrong, there is no right, because there should be no judgment either way. There should be no coerciveness or no, well, it's my opinion. Like this has to be for you. This has to be something that you decide or for your children. And it's not an easy decision if you're doing it for your child. There is absolutely a place for medication. What I will say with medication is that I just recently watched one of my clients it's been a longstanding client, go through the process of supporting their son into medication. And so in the beginning, it was working beautifully. Oh my gosh, different kid. Like, oh my gosh, this is going so well. I'm so happy we did this. I was so afraid to do this. I can't believe I waited this long. He is telling me he feels so happy, like all the things. And then I think as this child got older or maybe grew a little bit, or the medication then was the body was used to the medication, let's say. So then they upped it a little, or then they switched, or then they added, or then they this and that. And so they tweaked for about a year and a half as I followed this patient and client of mine that I had. And it got actually really bad for their son. And their son was more agitated and more, I would even say, anxious, depressed, like there's more irritable, more angry. And they switched up. They actually took their son off of everything that the son was on and changed to something different. And the child's like a new child. And so what I think happened is that they continued to add on. They are actually doing a stimulant and an antidepressant. And that was what was recommended by the psychiatrist. And if you continue adding stimulant and antidepressant, it can cause more irritability and anger and frustration. So if you or your child is on that, watch out for that. And be your child's own advocate. If you are seeing things that aren't going well, question, ask, don't just add more. The solution to medicine is not always adding more. And I give you that story to help you understand that you know your child best. It is okay to back down. It is okay to tweak. It is okay to shift. It is okay to listen to your provider, but also at the end of the day, trust your gut. And I do believe that we as humans feel like there's this hierarchy within the medical field of like, oh, well, they must know. They don't always know best. They know maybe the average, they know maybe the typical, they know maybe, the somewhat norm, but it's not always perfect. And so you know your child best. You know if you will benefit from medication, if your child will benefit from medication. And if you see that things are shifting and changing, it is okay to bother your provider. It is okay to be like, hey, yo, this isn't going well. Hello, we need to talk now. It is okay to push and find a provider who will be your asset and someone who will work with you as a team. Same with anyone who's doing any type of diagnosing, anyone who's doing any therapy for your kids or yourself. You want to find a team player who is on board for you and your family. I'm actually going to read this next quote. It's not a question, it's a comment. And I've been getting these a lot lately. And someone said, all I have to say is ignore those horrible humans sending hateful messages. And I'm actually going to talk about this because this has been on my mind for a while. And I don't quite know what to do with it. And I may talk about it further again in a different podcast, but it is very upsetting to me and concerning and saddening and frustrating and all the different emotions with the current climate of social media. When I first got on social media, it was a happy, joyous place. And I don't know if some of my content is being pushed to the wrong audience, just with whatever stupid algorithms, but I am seeing more and more and more phenomenal humans getting so burnt out on the algorithm of social media and the hate and the comments and the negativity that is going on within this platform and little side arguments in the comments. And, I scroll through the comments and I write back to some of you all. And sometimes, as of recent, there was one reel where I was like, holy shit. Like the shit that was coming out of people's fingers and commenting. I was like, giving opinions when no one asked for that. And just like hate, like literally hateful things. Like no wonder he killed himself. No wonder, like, whoa, dude, whoa. And I am seeing it on like not just my page. I am seeing it on so many wonderful colleagues and individuals who I've networked with and friendly with for years through social media. And it's to the point where they're like doing reels where they're like making a funny spoof on it and then posting the comments. Old haggard 40-year-old, no kids. What are you doing? Just nasty shit. It's just awful. And to be honest with you, I have had conversations with my team lately of whether to stay on specifically Instagram or not. And we are leaning a little bit more towards thinking we might go the YouTube route. Instagram is really sucking people dry in terms of the algorithm. And for me personally, I never give two shits about the algorithm. I don't care. I don't research it. I don't want to know. I don't care. My theory has always been if it's worthy of being seen, it will be seen. That's it. Like that's literally what I like. It'll go if it's supposed to go. It'll people will see it if it's supposed to be seen. Like if it's a good piece of content or if someone really got some value out of it, it'll fly. That's all I've gone with. I don't play the algorithm game. That's just bullshit and it'll keep you up at night and that's whatever. I should say that I am so grateful for all the social media platforms because it has allowed me to do exactly what I set out to do. I wanted to be able to reach more people through this business than my last one. And I had a brick and mortar and I knew, if you build it, they will come. Like they don't walk in the damn door. You got to go break down walls and be like, hey, did you know I got a building over there? And I treat clients and like that is a whole nother beast of letting people know I've built it. You want to come on over? And this, I knew that I could reach more people in a shorter amount of time all over, not just in my local city. And I'm so grateful because without all of these platforms, I would not be able to have that balance that we talked about of doing it all, right? I would not be able to have the schedule I have and be able to be there for my children and do the things I have to do as a solo parent. And like, I'm so incredibly grateful, as well as I love it. Like it's an outlet for me. I love shaking my booty and having fun. I really enjoy it. But it is just so heartbreaking to me that there are so many individuals in the world who are frankly not well or in so much pain that they want to say something nasty to someone else to make themselves feel better. I would say in the beginning, I've been doing this for over 4 years at this point. In the beginning, when I saw hateful comments, every time some kind of comment would come up that I hadn't seen before, it would spark emotions in me and I'd have to move through it. And I'd be like, okay, I got through that. I'm over that. Like, okay. Like, whew, like, wow, I can't believe someone would say that. And like it did hit hard. And then now there is no fiber in my body that's like, let me go cry in the corner. None. And I'm grateful to this journey even of social media because I've become a stronger individual and more comfortable in my own skin, if you will, of just being who I am, because I've learned, it's like all the things that you people please for, not to hear those things. You literally people please your entire life just so you don't hear hateful shit like that. And there it is, like right in front of me, like boom. And now it doesn't affect me. And so I'm able to be more myself than I ever have in my life because it was, I don't want to call it a test. But it surely, there were, trials and tribulations. And yeah, I had to move through some things to be like, okay, like I'm going to keep going. Like I'm going to keep going because that's not going to knock me down. I don't know you. You don't know me. And I didn't ask your opinion. I recently heard something that I am surely going to start saying from now on, which is opinions are like judgments wrapped up in a cashmere sweater. I didn't ask your opinion. I didn't want your opinion. I don't need your opinion. So you go take that goddamn cashmere sweater somewhere else. And I really believe that it's something that we should all live by. If you didn't ask my opinion, I'm not going to give it to you. If you ask, you sure as hell believe I'll give it to you. Like I don't have any problem being blunt. But if you didn't ask, that means you didn't need it. And so I'm going to support you in whatever decision you make. I'm not going to even try to sway you in a different direction. I'm just going to support you with wherever you're at. And that is what we as humans should do. It is not up to us to make other calls for other humans. It is not up to us to call people out. It is not up to us to say whether someone is living their life the right way or not. You get to decide. I get to decide on our own individual lives. And I wish all the haters all the best, not just on my page, but the haters of other people's pages. It's just sad. It's just super sad. It's becoming a little toxic, and I'm unsure as to what role I want to play in that in the future. For now, I'm staying, but just stay tuned. You might want to subscribe to my YouTube channel because that might be where we're going. Full blown where we're going. How to get out of chronic fight, flight, survival mode with 5 kids, some with ADHD and some with autism. I can't tell you how to do that over podcasts. My biggest recommendation to you is join Thrive. It is the most cost-effective way you will ever learn this information. It is the most life-changing. It is a lot more cost-effective than working with me one-on-one or working with my other 3 coaches one-on-one. And it will give you everything you need, not only to learn how to regulate yourself through the storm, but it will also support your children. Oh, I liked this question. Are overstimulation hangovers a thing? What helps to recover from them? Hell yeah, they're a thing. Holy shit, yeah. Okay, if you're like going. Let's say you have an event that you're planning or like a birthday party or a something, okay? And you're like going. You are going to get overstimulated. How are you going to feel the next day after that birthday party? Let's say you're launching a product at work or, like I said, a birthday party, right? Like think of something that you're doing or you're working towards. You've got like all this extra cortisol. And so you're like pushing it and you're going and you're vibing and you're like, it's all clicking. I was procrastinating for so long. And like, oh my gosh, it's doing so well now. Like, look at this. Like it all came together. Boom, you're going to crash and burn. That is an overstimulation hangover. That is what that is. You are going to crash and burn because you didn't support yourself through the go. There will be times where I'm vibing and I'm feeling exactly the way I just explained of like, ooh, I'm doing great. Like, let's keep going. And I'm like, nope, sit your ass on the couch. Just give yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like I literally will check in with myself and force myself to do a little tiny bit of regulation so that I don't crash and burn. I don't have the luxury of crashing and burning in my world. If I crash and burn, my children will have to fend for themselves. Like literally, like I don't get that luxury of just being like, peace out. Like I got an overstimulation hangover over here. Like y'all have a nice Saturday. I don't get that. And so if you look at your life that way of like, I don't have time to have that crash and burn. I don't have the time for that. Then you will make the time to take care of yourself. Water, sleep, rest, lay down on your back, do some breathing, right? Take a second away. If you're helping with the end of year parties or whatever it is, like it's okay to keep planning, but it's also okay to be like, you know what? I'm going to give myself an hour right there on that day to do nothing and stare at the wall. And it's going to feel lazy. I need that. And so I'm going to do it. Do you have a playlist of all the layered music? Yes, I do, on my Spotify. That one I just wanted to say because I say that one every single time I have a Q&A, and every single time I put up the link. If you want my layered playlist, it's on Spotify. Just type in my name. I'm sure you'll find me. And if you can't, go to my Q&As, highlights, and you'll find the link. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 more questions, and they're personal questions. So the first one is, I get asked about my jewelry all the time. My top necklace that I like, the one closest to my neck that I wear every day, I sleep in it, is my diamond from when Jonathan and I were together. And I made this a while ago and I never take it off. The rest of my jewelry is mostly vintage. I love following vintage jewelry resellers. That is my like guilty pleasure, if you will. That's a hard one because everyone asks, they're like, where'd you get your jewelry? Where'd you get your jewelry? But sometimes it's like one of a kind piece that I bought, but clearly there's others that look like that, you know? If you would like to know some of the handles of the people who I buy jewelry from, let me know in the comments of this podcast. So just type in, yes, we want jewelry details or something like that. So you're basically writing a review, but you're saying you're letting me know. So let me know if you want that. And I'm happy to share some of the awesome people, and you become friendly with them. They're awesome. But yeah, I have some jewelry from my grandmother, and I have always been in love with vintage or antique jewelry. Yeah, that's the answer to that. Random one, but I get asked that a lot and I've never answered it. Last one is another personal one, but the question is, but I'm just going to tailor it. The question is, who is winning this season of Survivor? I have no effing idea. And I'm going to say a few words. I hope I don't get in trouble, but I'm going to say a few words about Dr. Maria Gonzalez, who, if you did not know, we've shouted it out a lot. She is on our team. She's been on my team for, 3 years at this point. She is beyond baller. She has crushed it. And this has been a dream of hers forever. And it was incredible to hear that she got on the show. And the only reason I knew is because she had to tell her employer. And what she has done is the exact Maria that I know. She has shown up for herself and she has owned her strength and she has played the game. And I could not be more proud of her. I could not be more honored that she allowed us to go on this journey with her a few weeks ago. Well, not a few weeks ago, the first, 12 weeks ago, because the season finale is about to air. And none of us know what's going to happen. She has not told anyone. We went and I surprised her and flew in the whole team. And we went to her first viewing party in Dallas. And it was so special for all of us to be together and support her. Because if you are a female and if you are a mom and you're listening to this, you know how hard it is to do things for yourself. You know how hard it is to find a life outside of motherhood and parenthood. And her incredible husband supported her through going on this journey. And she was gone for a month, and she has absolutely demonstrated what it means to thrive like a human and what it means to thrive like a mother. Thrive in the most craziest of circumstances, which is on an island of Fiji and eating coconut for 30 days. It's just unbelievable. And she's won so many challenges, and she has really focused on going there to do what she set out to do, which is play the game. And we are so proud of her. And if you haven't watched the season, you probably should, because she's fucking kick ass. And she is not allowed to discuss this based on like legal stuff. I think they can't do podcasts or anything like that for like a year, but one day she'll talk about it on here and tell all of you about it. But for now, hopefully the answer to that question is hopefully Maria wins. We have no idea, like I said, but no matter what, she has crushed it and demonstrated what a strong female mother can look like. And I could not be more proud of her. And I think that's it for today. I had a lot of puppy questions in there, but we don't need to talk about the puppy. Puppy's great. Someone asked me what's going on with my other dog. If you watch on YouTube, you'll see my dog laying in the background. He is literally a poster dog or like literally it's my background. It's my backdrop. You will always see my dog in all my reels and he doesn't leave my side. He did have surgery in January. He is doing okay, but he is really, really old. And it will be really hard when he goes. This was Jonathan's dog. And this was legit Jonathan's best friend. And to soften the blow of whenever is his time, I felt that it would be best if we had another in the mix. And that's why we got Stella. And Stella is driving our dog Jacques up the wall because Stella wants to play. And Jacques is like, I just like laying on the cold floor. Okay. Can you let me be? But I have loved bringing a new pup into the mix. Yes, there were some sleepless nights that first week, but she has brought so much love and snuggles and comfort and something I was missing since Cooper passed, which if you're watching on YouTube, there's a picture of Cooper that the team gave me in the other corner of my office. And I look at it daily and I love it. And Cooper was my first dog. Cooper was my first everything. He literally, like if he could sleep under my skin, he would. And so I was really missing that from an animal companion because Jacques is so old. He just, kind of lays there. Also, I guess I should say thank you all for reaching out for the passing of my grandmother. I really appreciate that. She lived a wonderful life. She was 90. And a passing like that is bittersweet because you never want someone to go, right? Like it's painful. And my mom asked my sister and I to speak. And so we were writing something and it's just really hard bringing up memories of all the wonderful things and times and moments we've had with her. But she's at peace now. She had dementia and she didn't really remember us at the end. So she is at peace, but thank you for reaching out. That was a heavy week, which was last week. And I had some overstimulation hangovers, even as much as I tried to support myself through that, but traveling back and forth and all the things. And, but I took care of myself. When it happens, I take care of myself. And it was very short-lived, that exhaustion, because I try as hard as I can to take care of myself all throughout. So if you have more questions, I don't care what they are, personal, sensory, emotional regulation, I would love for you to either leave them in the comments below, just give a review and be like, hey, I have a question. I'd love for you to talk about this on the podcast, or you can DM me, or you can email us. I would love to know what you want to hear about, what questions you have, and what topics would be interesting to you. And until next time, thank you so much for being here. XOXO, Dr. B.